Senator Ernst, please.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you both so much for being here, for your leadership, and to the entire commission for their great work and support staff as well. We really do appreciate it. Of course, we've had the opportunity to hear about this urgent assessment of our national security landscape, and it has changed quite dramatically since the last NDS. So thank you for your time and attention. The recommendation should be a roadmap to address our security challenges and restore American leadership on the world stage. I feel that's very important. It's desperately needed right now. And I know we have talked about force structure, and Ambassador, we'll start with you. Only recently has the force planning shifted to a single conflict structure, despite facing the most significant strategic competition our country has ever faced. So the report, I want to draw attention to the quote, and I know we've talked about it, but the report includes a quote from a defense strategist who warns, quote, "A force that can only wage one conflict is effectively a zero-conflict force, since employing it would require the president to preclude any other meaningful global engagement," end quote. And in light of this, again, if you can talk a little bit about the multi-theater force construct, Ambassador, but then I also want to then lead into what Senator King alluded to with terrorism. Where does that leave our counterterrorism forces?
Senator Ernst, I think the problem we have is that, to go to your point, if we have a force that's optimized to fight one war, when a crisis erupts and the president asks the Secretary of Defense and the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs for military options to deal with it, the answer they're likely to get is, Mr. or Madam President, we can fight this fight, but you will be at very high risk in all these other places. And against that backdrop, what kind of decisions would, come out of that? And it's why I think it's described as a zero war force. Our view was that you have to be able to deter and potentially defeat adversaries in all three of the main theaters that we have been engaged in since the end of the Second World War, and which we repeatedly engaged in. I mean, there's been no shortage of efforts to try and extricate the United States from the Middle East. The last NDS in 2018 said we should be willing to run risk in the Middle East. I think on October 7th, we got a sense, and then again on April 13th, of what running additional risk means in the Middle East. So it's our view that we have to be able to, manage to do all of those things. And in that regard, I think we're consistent with our colleagues on the Strategic Posture Commission who argued something quite similar. But we also have to be able to deal with the ongoing threat, as Senator King said, of terrorism, and to be able to continue to focus on the things that Special Operations Command has been focused on for a number of years, making sure that we don't have terrorists plotting to, create mass casualties either in the homeland or, with our allies.
Yes.
If I could just add to that, I was in Congress on 9/11. Many were. I was a member before that of a commission on I think the Commission on Terrorism, which predicted a major attack on U.S. soil. No one was listening. And then came 9/11, and we surged everything to the GWAT, the Global War on Terror. Surging everything is not a good strategy. We missed, when we did that, the rise of China. We missed the rise of Russian grievance. We missed the kind of world we now live in. We have to do all these things at the same time, walk and chew gum at the same time. And this report tries, by promoting this all elements of national power strategy, to talk about how we could do that. And we don't think, we, the Commission, on a unanimous basis, that accepting risk in certain parts of the world, basically meaning not projecting U.S. leadership is a successful strategy. We have to be strong everywhere, which doesn't mean we have to have boots on the ground everywhere, but we have to have an all elements of national power strategy everywhere.
Yeah, I am in absolute agreement, Representative Harmon. And mentioning SOCOM, Special Operations Command, I do think it's incredibly important. And I'm in full agreement that we need to be able to face multiple fronts. I think all of us on this committee would agree with that. But we also have to have those that are nimble, agile, those that can respond quickly to situations. Those forces are found in SOCOM. We need to be able to leverage different tools of power in other regions to create stability. So whether it's kinetic action through the military or just working with friends and allies, we need to create greater stability all around the world. And I think we can achieve that, but we have to be willing to invest.
And diplomacy is one of our tools. So it's soft power matters, but hard power does too. And we're not talking about selecting parts of the world for one and other parts for the other. We're talking about a combination that's greater than the sum of the parts.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, I want to thank you both for your service and our entire commission and support staff. Thank you very much.